So then for number 15, I can see there's a real 0 at -1 and 2. So I can choose either one of these to divide g of x by to reduce the polynomial to then hopefully factor. So let's divide by x plus 1, because the factor here would be x plus 1, the factor here would be x minus 2. I really like box method, so that's what I'm going to use. If you like long division, you can use long division. So I'm setting up my box method. Okay, so x to the 4th goes back. X to the 4th divided by x.
Good afternoon, students. Just a reminder, we
One
still
moment.
have some free snack in the cafeteria. Please come on to the cafeteria to get your snack. Again, come on to the cafeteria, get a free snack. Thank you.
Okay, so then we subtract. So negative x to the 3rd minus x to the 3rd is -2. Divide, multiply, subtract, divide, multiply, subtract, divide, multiply, and I should get a remainder of 0 because I know x plus 1 is a factor, because x minus equals -1 is a solution. So we are left with the x to the 3rd minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 6. And I can see that this will factor by grouping, so I'm going to factor out the greatest common factors, regroup, and then I can see that here's that original factor. So these are 2 of my answers. If I solve the remaining factor, I will get my remaining 2 answers. So we get plus or minus I root 3. So it says find all 4 zeros. So I have to include the 2 real zeros that I can see from the graph. And here's my 2 complex zeros that I can't see. Another sanity check is that because the degree is 4, I should get 4 answers. All right, I'm going to do that again for 16. I see x equals -1 and x equals 3. So my factors are x plus 1 and x minus 3. I'm going to do box method again because I like it the best. I really want to do the x plus 1 again because of the positive 1. It's just easier. It's less negatives to deal with. It's a personal preference. If you really want to deal with the -3, be my guest. You should still get the same answer in the end. Okay, so I'm going to divide x to the 4th divided by x, multiply it back, subtract, divide, multiply, subtract. And I'm left with x to the 3rd minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 15. This factors by grouping. I can regroup it to x squared plus 5 and x minus 3. There's the original solution. So now I'm going to solve this one. Plus or minus I root 5 are the other 2 solutions. So I have these 2 real solutions and these 2 complex solutions. All right, state the zeros and the multiplicity. So x equals 3 is a 0, and that has a multiplicity of 2. X equals -2, which has a multiplicity of 1. And x equals 7, that has a multiplicity of 3. Before I make my graph, well, I can plot my x-intercepts. And then I want to think about the end behavior. So overall degree is 3, 4, 5, 6. So the degree is 6, which is even, and the leading coefficient is positive, so both n behaviors will go up. Okay, multiplicity of 2, well, let me go in order. Multiplicity of 1 means intersect the graph. I'm gonna go down, intersect through -2. A multiplicity of 2 means tangent, so I'm gonna turn back around. And then a multiplicity of 3 is the inflection point. I'm gonna do my best to sketch that. And there's my graph. And it says a rough graph. So really what we would be looking for is your x-intercepts, your n behaviors, your tangency versus intersection points. So let's do that again for 18. X equals -1 has a multiplicity of 2. X equals 3 has a multiplicity of 1. And x equals -5 has a multiplicity of 2. -1, -5, 3. So my overall degree is 2, 3, 4, 5, is a 5, so that's odd, with a negative leading coefficient. So that's to infinity on the left and negative infinity on the right. This is a multiplicity of 2, so I'm going to turn back around. -1 has a multiplicity of 2. Turn back around. And -3 has a multiplicity of 1, so I go through the graph. And there's my rough sketch for 18. Whoa, sorry. And last but not least, Mrs. Strauss is working on this polynomial. Explain why x plus 1 is a factor. Okay. Well, the remainder is 0. So Mrs. Strauss divided x plus 1 into the polynomial, and her remainder is 0, meaning x plus 1 divides evenly into the polynomial, and therefore is a factor. Write the polynomial in factored form. I'm going to take x plus 1 and multiply it by the quotient. Oh my goodness.
The STEP team will be meeting in the auditorium. STEP team, please go to the auditorium for your meeting. Thank you.
Okay, we're almost done. I should not have any other interruptions. So I have the x plus 1 times the quotient. This is the factored form of the given polynomial. Now solve. Okay, well, x plus 1 equals 0. That's x equals -1. X squared plus 2x plus 2 equals 0. That does not factor, so I will complete the square since b is even. Half of 2 squared is I add 1 to both sides. Square root. And subtract 1. So my three answers are x equals -1, and then -1 plus I, and -1 minus I. And it's a degree of 3, so I expect 3 solutions for all solutions.